I never thought I'd have to pay for my own birthday surprise. That's how my family worked, though. Everything was always about my sister, Olivia. You're paying for this trip, Mom already confirmed. My sister said casually over the phone, like she was telling me the weather forecast. No, hello. No, how are you? Just straight to what she wanted from me. I sat there, phone pressed against my ear, staring at the family photo on my desk. Mom, Dad, Olivia, and me. From an outsider's perspective, we looked like the perfect family, but looks can be deceiving. What trip? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Mom's surprise birthday trip to the beach house, Olivia explained, annoyance seeping into her voice. Don't tell me you forgot. We've been planning this for weeks. The truth was, nobody had mentioned any trip to me. Not Mom, not Dad, and certainly not Olivia. This was the first I was hearing about it, and yet somehow I was expected to foot the bill. I didn't forget, I said quietly. Nobody told me. Olivia laughed, that dismissive laugh she'd perfected over the years. Well, we discussed it at Sunday dinner. The Sunday dinner I wasn't invited to. Again. I see, I replied, my stomach tightening. And why exactly am I paying for everyone? Because you're the one with the good job, she said matter-of-factly. Besides, you missed Mom's birthday last year because of your business trip, remember? This is your chance to make it up to her. The guilt trip. Classic Olivia. She knew exactly which buttons to push. How much are we talking about? I asked, already mentally calculating how much I'd need to move from my savings. I'll text you the details, she said. Gotta go. Love you. She hung up before I could respond. 30 seconds later, my phone pinged with a message. I opened it and nearly choked on my coffee. The amount was astronomical, enough for a luxury weekend for 4 people at an exclusive beach resort. And she'd added a little note. You'll pay for the trip, Mom already confirmed. Not, please, not thank you, not even a question, just a statement, as if my bank account was the family piggy bank, open for withdrawals whenever they pleased. I stared at that message for a long time, watching as my reflection in the phone screen slowly changed from shock to something else. Something harder. Something I hadn't allowed myself to feel in a long time. Anger. For years, I'd been the family ATM. Need new furniture? Ask Katie. Car repair? Katie will handle it. College fund running low? Katie's got it covered. I was the responsible one, the successful one, the one who'd made it. And apparently that meant I owed them everything. My hands were shaking as I set my phone down. I thought about all the birthdays and Christmases where my gifts to them were extravagant, while theirs to me were afterthoughts. I thought about all the family emergencies that somehow always required my financial intervention. I took a deep breath and picked up my phone again, scrolling through my calendar. The trip was scheduled for next weekend, Mom's actual birthday. I hadn't been invited to the planning, hadn't been consulted about the dates, hadn't been included in any way except as the financier. For a moment, I considered doing what I always did. Say yes, transfer the money, and show up with a smile, grateful to be included at all. It would be easier. It would avoid the drama. It would keep the peace. But something inside me had shifted. Maybe it was the casual way Olivia had informed me of my financial obligation. Maybe it was the fact that they'd planned this family trip without me. Or maybe it was just years of built-up resentment finally reaching its breaking point. I didn't respond to the text. Instead, I opened my laptop and started researching the resort they'd chosen. It was beautiful. Oceanfront suites, private balconies, gourmet dining. Exactly the kind of place Mom had always dreamed of visiting. I called the resort directly. "Hello, I'd like to make a reservation for next weekend," I said when the cheerful receptionist answered. "Of course. How many people will be staying with us?" I paused, my finger hovering over Olivia's text message. "Just one," I replied. "Just me." The receptionist took down my information, and I booked a simple room, not one of the luxury suites Olivia had selected for everyone else. Then I did something I'd never done before. I booked a separate activity for Mom's birthday, just for the two of us. A private dinner on the beach, with her favorite wine and a cake from her favorite bakery. After I hung up, I stared at Olivia's text again. I could almost hear her voice. "You'll pay for the trip, Mom already confirmed." 3 days passed. Olivia texted twice more, asking if I'd made the payment yet. I didn't respond. My phone rang several times with her calls, but I let them go to voicemail. Each time, her messages grew more insistent, more entitled. "Katie, what's the holdup? We need to confirm the booking." "Hello? Are you ignoring me? Mom's asking about the trip." "Seriously, Katie, don't ruin Mom's birthday because you're being difficult." On the 4th day, Mom called. "Honey?" Her voice was tentative, unsure. "Is everything okay? Olivia says she's been trying to reach you." I closed my eyes, gathering my courage. "Everything's fine, Mom. I've just been busy with work." "Oh, good. So about the trip next weekend." Here it came. The confirmation that they really had discussed this without me. That they really did expect me to pay without being asked. "Yes, about that," I said, my voice steadier than I expected. "I've made arrangements for your birthday." "You have?" She sounded surprised and a little relieved. Olivia was getting worried because the resort needed confirmation. "I didn't book what Olivia planned," I said. "I made different arrangements." A pause. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I'm not paying for a luxury trip for 4 people who didn't even include me in the planning," I said, the words coming out in a rush. "I've booked something special just for you and me." The silence on the other end was deafening. I could almost see Mom's face, the confusion, the disbelief that I was actually saying no. "But Olivia said you agreed to cover it. She said it was your gift to all of us." My heart sank. Not only had Olivia volunteered my money without asking, but she'd told Mom it was my idea. "Mom, this is the first I heard about any trip," I said gently. "Olivia called me 4 days ago and told me I was paying. She didn't ask. She didn't include me in any planning. She just decided." "Oh." That small sound contained worlds of realization. I didn't know that." "I know you didn't," I assured her. "And I do want to celebrate your birthday. I've planned something special for us. But I'm not going to pay for a trip I had no part in organizing." Another long pause. Then, "I understand. I'll talk to Olivia." We said our goodbyes, and I hung up, my heart pounding. I'd never stood up to them like that before. It felt terrifying, and also strangely liberating. The week leading up to Mom's birthday was tense. Dad called, trying to play peacemaker. "Katie, honey, I know Olivia can be difficult sometimes," he said, choosing his words carefully. "But this trip means a lot to your mother. Couldn't you just help out this once?" This once. As if it would be the first time. As if I hadn't been helping out for years. "Dad, did you know that Olivia told Mom this trip was my idea? That I'd volunteered to pay for everyone?" His silence was answer enough. "I've already made special plans for Mom's birthday," I continued. "Just for her and me. You and Olivia are welcome to join us for that instead." "Your sister was really counting on this resort trip," he said, his voice taking on that slightly wheedling tone he used when he wanted something. "She's already told the kids about the beach, my niece and nephew, the ultimate emotional leverage. I loved those kids fiercely and they knew it. Everyone knew it. The kids are welcome at what I've planned too," I said, standing firm. "But I'm not paying for Olivia's dream vacation." Dad sighed heavily. "I'll talk to her." Whatever conversation followed between Dad and Olivia, it didn't go well. Shortly after, my phone exploded with texts from my sister. Way to ruin everything. Mom is so disappointed. The kids are crying. I can't believe you're being so selfish. Each message was designed to make me cave, to make me feel like the villain. In the past, it would have worked. This time, I turned off my notifications and focused on finalizing the details for what I'd planned. The day before the trip, Olivia showed up at my apartment unannounced. When I opened the door, she pushed past me into the living room. "What is wrong with you?" she demanded, whirling to face me. "You've ruined everything." I closed the door quietly. "Hello to you too, Olivia." "Don't get cute with me," she snapped. "The resort is fully booked now. We can't even go if we wanted to pay for it ourselves." "That's unfortunate," I said, keeping my voice level. "My offer still stands. You're welcome to join what I've planned for Mom." She scoffed. "A dinner? That's your big plan? Mom deserves more than just a dinner." "It's not just a dinner," I replied. "But even if it was, it would be a dinner that included her in the planning. That respected her enough to ask what she wanted." "She wanted the resort," Olivia insisted. "We all talked about it." "All of you except me," I pointed out. "Why wasn't I invited to that conversation, Olivia? Why was I only contacted when it was time to pay the bill?" She looked away, a flash of guilt crossing her face before the anger returned. "You're always so busy with work. We didn't want to bother you." "Too busy to plan, but not too busy to pay?" I asked. "Come on, Olivia. You know that's not fair." "Fair?" She laughed bitterly. "You want to talk about fair? You're the one with the fancy job and the fancy apartment. The rest of us are just trying to get by." This was an old argument. Yes, I had done well for myself. I had worked hard, saved carefully, made smart investments. Olivia had chosen a different path. Married young, had kids early, worked part-time so she could be home more. I respected her choices. What I didn't respect was the implication that my success somehow obligated me to subsidize everyone else's lives. My financial situation doesn't make me responsible for funding family vacations I wasn't even consulted about, I said firmly. "I'm happy to contribute. I'm happy to help when I can. But I'm not an ATM, Olivia." She rolled her eyes. "Dramatic much? Nobody treats you like an ATM." "Really?" I walked over to my desk and pulled out a folder. "Let's see. In the past year alone, I've given you money for car repairs, new winter coats for the kids, half of Ethan's braces, and a new washing machine. I paid for Dad's surprise party, Mom's anniversary gift, and the family portion of Cousin Sarah's wedding. I also covered the deposit when you and Rick wanted to rent that cabin last summer." Olivia shifted uncomfortably. "So you keep score?" "No, I keep receipts," I corrected her. "Because every time it's an emergency or a special occasion or just this once. And somehow I'm always the bad guy if I hesitate." She looked away, arms crossed defensively. "It's not like you can't afford it." "That's not the point, and you know it," I said, my voice softer now. "The point is respect, Olivia. The point is being included in decisions, not just expected to fund them. The point is being treated like family, not like a bank." For a moment, something flickered across her face. Recognition, perhaps. Or shame. But it was quickly replaced by her usual defensive anger. "So you're punishing all of us because your feelings got hurt?" she demanded. Real mature Katie. I sighed, suddenly tired. "I'm not punishing anyone. I've made alternative plans for Mom's birthday that I think she'll love. You're welcome to join us. Or not. That's your choice." She stared at me for a long moment, as if trying to gauge whether I would eventually cave. When she realized I wouldn't, she snatched up her purse. "Fine," she said coldly. "Have it your way. But don't expect us to keep inviting you to things if you're going to be like this." The irony of that statement, threatening not to invite me to things I apparently was only invited to finance, was not lost on me, but I let it go. "I'll see you tomorrow, Olivia. The flight leaves at 10 a.m. She paused at the door. "What flight?" "The one I booked for all of us," I said. "Part of my plan for Mom's birthday." Her eyes narrowed suspiciously. "So you did book a trip?" "I did, just not the one you demanded I pay for without consulting me." She hesitated, clearly torn between curiosity and pride. Finally, she asked, "Where are we going?" I smiled. "You'll find out tomorrow, if you come." After Olivia left, I double-checked all my arrangements. Everything was set. The private jet I'd chartered, a one-time splurge I'd been saving for, would take us to a smaller, more intimate resort, a little further down the coast from the one Olivia had chosen. I'd booked a beautiful oceanfront cottage with separate bedrooms for everyone, private chef service for Mom's birthday dinner, and a photographer to capture the weekend. It had cost me a small fortune, more than what Olivia had demanded, actually. But this was my choice, on my terms, and more importantly, I'd called Mom earlier in the week to ask what she really wanted for her birthday. "Honestly, sweetheart," she'd said, "I just want my family together without any fighting. That would be the best gift." I hoped I could deliver on that, but I wasn't optimistic. Years of established patterns don't change overnight. The next morning, I arrived at the private airport terminal early, uncertain who would actually show up. To my surprise, Mom and Dad were already there, sitting nervously in the waiting area. Mom jumped up when she saw me. "Katie, what is all this? Your father won't tell me anything." I hugged her tightly. "Happy birthday, Mom. This is part of your surprise." She looked around at the private terminal with wide eyes. Is this a private plane?" "Yes," I confirmed. "Just for this weekend." Dad approached more cautiously. "Katie, this must be costing a fortune." I met his gaze evenly. "It's Mom's 70th birthday. It's worth it." He nodded slowly, understanding the unspoken message. I could be generous when it was my choice, when I was treated with respect. "Will Olivia be joining us?" Mom asked, her voice careful, neutral. "I invited her," I said. "We'll see." We waited. The departure time grew closer. The pilot approached to ask if we were ready to board. I checked my phone one last time. No messages from Olivia. "We should probably go ahead," I told Mom gently. "I don't think she's coming." Mom's face fell, but she nodded bravely. "Okay, honey. It's still going to be wonderful." As we moved toward the boarding area, I heard the terminal doors open behind us. Turning, I saw Olivia, Rick, and the kids rushing in, luggage in tow. "Wait!" Olivia called. "We're here!" The kids ran ahead, excited and curious about the private plane. Rick followed, giving me an apologetic nod as he passed. Olivia approached more slowly, her expression a complicated mix of emotions. "I didn't think you'd come," I said quietly. She shrugged, not quite meeting my eyes. "Mom wanted us all together." It wasn't an apology. It wasn't even an acknowledgement of the issue between us. But it was something. A small step. As we boarded the plane, Mom looked around at all of us, her whole family together, and her eyes filled with tears of happiness. She squeezed my hand as she sat down. "Thank you," she whispered. I smiled back, but my mind was already on what would happen when we landed. This weekend would be a test for all of us. Could we establish a new pattern? Could I maintain my boundaries while still being generous? Could Olivia learn to see me as more than a financial resource? I wasn't sure. But as the plane taxied down the runway, I felt something I hadn't felt in family situations for a long time. Hope. The flight attendant approached with champagne for the adults and sparkling cider for the kids. "Where are we headed today?" she asked brightly. Before I could answer, Olivia spoke up. "We're celebrating our mom's birthday," she said, and then, with a quick glance at me, added, "My sister planned it all." It wasn't much, but it was acknowledgement. It was a start. As the plane lifted off, I looked out the window at the shrinking ground below. From up here, everything looked different, smaller, more manageable. Maybe that's what we all needed, a new perspective. The resort was everything I had hoped for, and more. As we stepped off the private shuttle that had met us at the airport, Mom gasped audibly. The main building was a stunning modern structure that somehow blended perfectly with the natural surroundings. All glass, natural wood, and stone facing a pristine white sand beach. "Oh, Katie," Mom breathed, clutching my arm. "This is magical." The staff greeted us warmly, offering refreshing coconut drinks and cool scented towels. A manager stepped forward, smiling. "Mrs. Reynolds, we're delighted to welcome you and your family for your special birthday celebration. Everything has been arranged according to your daughter's specifications." Mom turned to me, her eyes shining with emotion. "You did all this?" I nodded, feeling a strange mix of pride and embarrassment at her reaction. It felt good to be appreciated, to see the genuine surprise and joy on her face. But part of me was sad too. Sad that my own mother was so shocked by thoughtfulness from me, as if I'd never shown it before. The truth was more complicated. I had always been thoughtful, always tried to consider what would make everyone happy. The difference was that this time, I had also considered what would make me happy. The manager led us to our accommodation, not hotel rooms, but a private beachfront cottage with 4 bedrooms, a spacious living area, and a wraparound deck that offered panoramic ocean views. "This is where you'll be staying," he explained, opening the door with a flourish. "The master suite is prepared for the birthday celebrant, of course." As we toured the cottage, everyone's mood seemed to lift. The kids, my niece Emma and nephew Liam, immediately claimed the bedroom with bunk beds, squealing with delight. Rick whistled appreciatively at the gourmet kitchen, and even Olivia seemed genuinely impressed, running her hand along the smooth granite countertops. "This must have cost a fortune," she murmured, when she thought no one could hear. I pretended not to notice. Today wasn't about money or who paid for what. It was about celebrating Mom. "There's a welcome dinner scheduled on the private beach at sunset," I told everyone once we'd settled in. "That gives us a few hours to relax and explore." Mom hugged me tightly. "I don't know what to say, sweetheart. This is beyond anything I could have imagined." Over her shoulder, I caught Dad's eye. He nodded slightly, a silent acknowledgement, maybe even approval. The afternoon passed peacefully. The kids built sandcastles with Dad's help. Mom lounged on the deck with a novel, and Rick took a nap. Olivia and I found ourselves alone in the kitchen, unpacking the welcome basket the resort had provided. "So," she said, carefully arranging fruit in a bowl, "how long have you been planning this?" "About a week," I admitted. "Since you told me I was paying for the other trip." She winced slightly. "Yeah, about that. I might have been a bit presumptuous." Coming from Olivia, this was practically a groveling apology. I decided to accept it as such. "Water under the bridge," I said, then couldn't resist adding, "for now." She shot me a look, half annoyed, half amused. "Always have to get the last word, don't you? Just setting expectations for the future," I replied lightly. Olivia was quiet for a moment, focusing intently on the arrangement of mangoes and papayas. "You know," she finally said, "I never thought about how it must feel, always being the one everyone turns to when they need something." I nearly dropped the bottle of champagne I was putting in the fridge. This level of self-awareness from my sister was unprecedented. "It's complicated," I said carefully. "I'm happy to help when I can. I love you all, and I'm fortunate to be in a position where I can do things like this. I just want to be asked, not told," she finished for me. And included in the planning, not just the paying. Exactly. She nodded slowly. I get it. I think I always got it, actually. It was just easier not to think about it. It's a pattern we all fell into, I acknowledged. Me included. We worked in companionable silence for a few minutes, arranging snacks and stowing drinks in the fridge. It was the longest civil conversation we'd had in years. For what it's worth, Olivia said as she closed the cabinet, this place is way better than the one I picked. I laughed, genuinely surprised by her candor. Good to know my money was well spent. She smiled, a real smile without any of the usual competitive edge. Don't get used to the compliments. I have a reputation to maintain. Heaven forbid you be nice to your sister, I teased. The moment was broken by Emma and Liam bursting into the kitchen, sand-covered and hungry. But something had shifted between Olivia and me. A door had been cracked open, just slightly. The welcome dinner that evening was everything I had hoped for. The resort staff had set up a private dining area on the beach, with a table elegantly decorated with tropical flowers and candles. As the sun began its descent, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and pinks, a small team of servers appeared with trays of Mom's favorite foods, all carefully researched and planned by me through discreet conversations with Dad. This is too much, Mom kept saying, her eyes bright with tears as each new dish appeared. Nothing is too much for you, Dad said, squeezing her hand across the table. The kids were surprisingly well behaved, enchanted by the beachside dining experience and the special virgin cocktails the bartender had created just for them. After the main course, the staff brought out a stunning birthday cake adorned with fresh flowers and a single candle. Make a wish, Mom, I encouraged as we all sang happy birthday. She closed her eyes for a moment, then blew out the candle with a smile. I don't need to wish for anything, she said, looking around at all of us. I have everything I want right here. It was the perfect moment, until Olivia's phone rang loudly, shattering the peaceful atmosphere. She glanced at the screen, then excused herself hurriedly, walking a short distance away to take the call. I tried not to let it bother me. Old habits die hard after all. But I couldn't help noticing how Mom's smile dimmed slightly, how Dad's shoulders tensed. We were also conditioned to expect the Olivia drama, the interruptions, the crises that always seemed to revolve around her. She returned a few minutes later, her expression tight. Sorry about that, she muttered, sliding back into her seat. Everything okay? Mom asked carefully. Fine, Olivia replied shortly. Just work. I raised an eyebrow at this. Olivia's part-time job at a real estate office rarely required after-hours calls, but I let it go. Tonight was about celebration, not confrontation. After dessert, I presented Mom with an envelope. One more surprise, I said as she opened it. Inside was a certificate for a full spa day for her the following morning, complete with massage, facial, and all the premium treatments. Oh, Katie, she breathed. This is too generous. You deserve to be pampered, I told her. Dad and I will take the kids to the tide pools while you enjoy your spa day. And what about me? Olivia asked, a hint of the old entitled tone creeping back into her voice. I was prepared for this. There's a second certificate in there, Mom. I thought you might like some mother-daughter time. Mom's face lit up. Both my girls? That would be wonderful. Olivia looked genuinely surprised. You included me in the spa day? Of course, I said simply. It's Mom's birthday. She'd want you there. Something shifted in Olivia's expression. A flash of shame, perhaps, or gratitude. Thank you, she said quietly. The rest of the evening passed pleasantly. After dinner, we walked along the moonlit beach, the kids running ahead to collect shells in the buckets the resort had thoughtfully provided. Mom linked arms with me, leaning her head against my shoulder. This is the best birthday I've ever had, she confided, not because of the fancy resort or the private plane, though those are certainly amazing, but because my family is together and getting along. I squeezed her arm gently. That's all I wanted for you, Mom. I know things haven't always been easy between you and Olivia, she continued hesitantly. I've worried about it for years. We're working on it, I assured her, watching as Olivia and Rick walked ahead of us, hand in hand. It's complicated, Mom sighed. Family always is, honey, but it's worth the effort. When we returned to the cottage, everyone was pleasantly tired from the travel and excitement. The kids were practically asleep on their feet, and Rick offered to put them to bed. Dad announced he was turning in as well, giving Mom a meaningful look that made her blush like a teenager. That left Olivia and me alone on the deck, listening to the waves crash against the shore. I poured us each a glass of wine from the bottle left chilling in an ice bucket. To Mom, I toasted, raising my glass. To Mom, Olivia echoed, clinking her glass against mine. And to your excellent planning skills. I smiled, accepting the compliment. Thanks for coming. I know it wasn't easy after our argument. She took a sip of wine, gazing out at the dark ocean. I almost didn't, she admitted. Pride and all that. What changed your mind? Rick, actually. She laughed softly. He said I was being an idiot, and that if I ruined Mom's birthday because I was too stubborn to admit I was wrong, he'd never let me forget it. I raised my eyebrows in surprise. My brother-in-law was typically so easygoing that he rarely challenged Olivia directly. Smart man, I commented. He has his moments. She twirled the wine in her glass thoughtfully. Also, I was curious about what you had planned. And? Does it meet with your approval? I couldn't keep a slight edge from my voice. She looked at me directly. It's perfect, Katie. You've always been good at this stuff, knowing exactly what would make people happy. Not always, I disagreed. I just pay attention. She was quiet for a moment. Is that a dig at me? That I don't pay attention to what other people want? I sighed, not wanting to reignite old tensions. No, it wasn't meant that way. Let's not do this tonight, okay? But Olivia, as always, couldn't let it go. No, I want to know. Is that what you think of me? That I'm self-centered and don't care about anyone else's feelings? Olivia? Because if that's what you think, you should just say it. I'm a big girl. I can take it. I set down my wine glass carefully. Fine. Yes. Sometimes I think you're so focused on what you want that you don't consider how your actions affect others. Like when you volunteered my money without asking, told Mom it was my idea, and then made me the bad guy when I didn't immediately agree. She flinched but didn't argue. Fair enough. But, I continued, I also think I enable it. I've let you, and Mom and Dad, treat me like the family bank for so long that it became normal. I never set clear boundaries. I just simmered in resentment and then occasionally exploded, which wasn't fair to anyone. Olivia nodded slowly, considering this. I can see that. We sat in silence for a while, the only sounds the crashing waves and distant laughter from another part of the resort. Can I tell you something? Olivia finally said, her voice uncharacteristically vulnerable. Something I've never told anyone, not even Rick. Of course. She took a deep breath. I'm jealous of you. I always have been. I stared at her, genuinely shocked. Jealous? Of me? But you're the one who everyone loves, who fits in everywhere, who married her high school sweetheart and has the perfect little family. She shook her head. Maybe. But you're the one who got out. You built something for yourself. You don't need anyone. I was stunned into silence. This was so far from how I saw our dynamic that I couldn't immediately formulate a response. You think I don't need anyone? I finally managed. Look at you. She gestured vaguely at me. Successful career, financial independence, your own place in the city. Meanwhile, I'm still living in the same town we grew up in, working part-time at a job I hate because we need Rick's health insurance for the kids. I had no idea you felt that way, I said softly. She shrugged, trying to seem casual, but I could see the tension in her shoulders. It's easier to ask you for money than to admit I'm envious of your life. My life isn't perfect, Liv, I said, using her childhood nickname without thinking. I work 60-hour weeks. I haven't had a serious relationship in years because I'm always at the office. And contrary to what you might think, I do need people. I need my family. That's why it hurts so much when I feel like I'm only valued for what I can provide. She looked at me then. Really looked at me, perhaps seeing me clearly for the first time in years. I'm sorry, she said, and I could tell she meant it. I never thought about it that way. I know. She took another sip of wine. So, where do we go from here? I can't promise I'll never ask for help again. I don't expect that, I assured her. I'm happy to help when I can. I just want to be asked, not told. Included, not instructed. Appreciated, not taken for granted. That sounds reasonable, she admitted. I can try to do better. That's all I'm asking. She raised her glass again. To new beginnings? I clinked my glass against hers. To new beginnings. As we finished our wine in companionable silence, watching the moonlight shimmer on the water, I felt a cautious optimism. One conversation wouldn't undo years of established patterns, but it was a start. For the first time in a long time, I felt like my sister was seeing me as a person, not just as a resource. The phone call I'd been waiting for came just as we were about to head to bed. I excused myself to take it, walking a short distance down the beach for privacy. Is everything set for tomorrow? I asked without preamble. The voice on the other end confirmed that all arrangements were in place for the final surprise. The real reason I'd chosen this particular resort. Mom had no idea what was coming, and for once, neither did Olivia. As I hung up, I turned to find Olivia standing a few feet away, watching me with narrowed eyes. More secrets? She asked, but her tone was light, teasing rather than accusatory. I smiled mysteriously. You'll find out tomorrow. She raised an eyebrow. Another surprise for Mom? For all of you, I replied, but especially for Mom. Olivia studied me for a moment, then nodded. Whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be perfect. You've always been the thoughtful one. And you've always been the spontaneous one, I countered. We balance each other out when we're not driving each other crazy. She laughed, a genuine laugh without any of the usual sharp edges. True enough. Good night, Katie. Good night, Liv. As I watched her walk back to the cottage, I felt a strange mixture of emotions: hope, wariness, affection, and lingering resentment. Healing family dynamics wasn't a linear process. There would be steps forward and steps back. But tonight had been a step forward, and I was grateful for that. Tomorrow would bring its own challenges and its own joys. For now, it was enough to know that we had made a start. I woke early the next morning, before anyone else was stirring. Slipping quietly onto the deck with a cup of coffee, I watched the sunrise paint the sky in delicate pinks and golds. Today was the day, the culmination of a week of secret planning and years of careful observation. Mom had always been the heart of our family. She was the one who remembered everyone's birthdays, who kept in touch with distant relatives, who preserved our family history through carefully curated photo albums and handwritten recipe cards. What she wanted most, what she had always wanted, was for her family to be close, to treasure each other the way she treasured us. My phone buzzed with a text. Everything was on schedule. By the time everyone else began to wake, I had breakfast laid out on the deck: fresh tropical fruit, pastries from the resort bakery, and a pot of Mom's favorite coffee. One by one, they emerged from their rooms, drawn by the smell of food and coffee. "You're up early," Mom commented, kissing my cheek before helping herself to a papaya. "Couldn't sleep," I admitted. "Too excited about today." She smiled, clearly pleased by my enthusiasm. "The spa day isn't until 11, honey. You didn't need to be up at dawn." "There's more planned than just the spa," I said mysteriously. Dad raised his eyebrows over his coffee cup. "More surprises?" "You've done enough, Katie," Mom protested gently. "This is already the most wonderful birthday." "Let her spoil you, Mom," Olivia interjected, surprising me with her support. "It's not every day you turn 70. The kids joined us then, already in their swimsuits and eager to hit the beach. Rick followed, looking slightly rumpled but happy. "What's the plan for today?" he asked, accepting the cup of coffee I handed him gratefully. "Mom and Olivia have their spa appointment at 11, I explained. "Dad, you and I are taking the kids to explore the tide pools this morning. Then we all meet back here for lunch at 1:30. After that," I smiled mysteriously. "You'll see." "More secrets," Olivia commented, but her tone was playful rather than accusatory. After breakfast, we split up as planned. Dad and I took the kids to the tide pools, where a marine biologist from the resort met us for a guided exploration. Emma and Liam were enthralled, squealing with delight at each tiny crab and sea star we discovered. Dad seemed to enjoy it as much as they did, his camera clicking constantly. "This was a good idea," he said quietly, as we watched the kids listening raptly to the biologist's explanation of how hermit crabs find new shells. "The whole weekend, I mean." "Thanks, Dad." He hesitated, then added, "I know your mother and I, sometimes take advantage of your generosity. And I know Olivia can be difficult." I waited, letting him find his words. "I'm proud of you," he finally said. "Not just for your success, but for how you've handled all this. Standing up for yourself while still being generous. It's a balance most people never find." Coming from my father, a man of few words, and even fewer emotional disclosures, this was extraordinary. I felt a lump form in my throat. "Thanks, Dad. That means a lot." He nodded, seemingly embarrassed by his own sentimentality, and quickly changed the subject. "So what's this big surprise you have planned for this afternoon?" I laughed. "Nice try. You'll find out with everyone else." When we returned to the cottage, Mom and Olivia were already back from their spa treatments, looking relaxed and refreshed. Lunch was served on the deck, a delicious spread of local seafood and tropical salads prepared by the resort's chef. "This is heaven," Mom sighed, helping herself to more grilled shrimp. "I don't think I've ever been this relaxed." "Good," I said, checking my watch discreetly. "Because after lunch we have one more special activity planned." Everyone looked at me expectantly. "We need to be ready to go at 3, I announced. "Casual but nice. We'll be taking photos." "Photos?" Mom perked up. She had always been the family photographer, meaning she rarely appeared in pictures herself. "Professional ones," I confirmed. "A photographer will be meeting us at a special location." This generated excited speculation throughout the rest of lunch. Even Olivia seemed genuinely curious rather than suspicious. As 3 o'clock approached, everyone changed into the outfits I'd suggested, casual but coordinated, in shades of blue and white that would look good against the backdrop I'd chosen. A resort car was waiting to take us to the location, a secluded beach cove about 15 minutes from the main property. As we approached, I could see that everything had been set up exactly as I'd requested. A white canopy fluttered in the breeze, surrounded by tropical flowers and elegant but simple seating. "What is all this?" Mom asked as we stepped out of the car. "Katie, what have you done?" Before I could answer, a figure emerged from behind the canopy, a tall, distinguished man with salt and pepper hair and a familiar smile. Mom froze. "Michael," she whispered. It was her brother, my Uncle Michael, whom she hadn't seen in person for over 20 years. He lived in Australia with his family, and while they spoke on the phone regularly, The distance and expense had kept them apart physically. "Surprise, little sister," he said, opening his arms. Mom made a sound somewhere between a sob and a laugh before rushing into his embrace. They clung to each other, rocking slightly, both openly crying now. "How?" Mom asked when they finally pulled apart, though she kept hold of his hands as if afraid he might disappear. "How are you here?" "Ask your daughter," Michael said, smiling at me over Mom's shoulder. "She arranged everything." Mom turned to me, her face a mixture of shock and joy. "Katie, you did this?" I nodded, feeling tears prick at my own eyes. "Happy birthday, Mom." She embraced me fiercely. "This is the most wonderful gift anyone has ever given me." "But how did you know?" "I never said—" "You didn't have to," I told her. "Every time Uncle Michael calls, you're happy for days afterward. And I've seen you looking at the old family photos, the ones from before he moved away. I know how much you miss him. But the expense, flying him all the way from Australia, worth every penny," I assured her. "Besides, he's not alone." As if on cue, more figures appeared from behind the canopy. Aunt Sylvia, Michael's wife, and their children and grandchildren. Mom's hands flew to her mouth. "Oh my goodness," she gasped. "The whole family?" For the next few minutes, there was chaos as introductions were made and hugs exchanged. Many of the younger cousins were meeting for the first time. Dad was shaking hands with Michael, both men blinking suspiciously bright eyes. The kids were already bonding with their Australian second cousins, comparing accents and giggling. I stood back, watching it all unfold with a sense of deep satisfaction. This moment of family connection was what Mom had always wanted most. Not expensive gifts or lavish parties, but her loved ones together, bridging the distances that life had put between them. Olivia appeared at my side. "You planned all this?" she asked quietly. "Flew the entire Australian branch of the family here for Mom's birthday?" I nodded. "They're staying for a week. I've rented a larger villa for all of us starting tomorrow." She stared at me, shaking her head slightly. "I can't believe you pulled this off without any of us knowing." "It wasn't easy," I admitted. "Especially keeping it from Mom." Olivia was quiet for a moment, watching as Mom introduced Emma and Liam to their Australian relatives. "I would never have thought of this," she finally said. "I would have gone for something flashy, jewelry or a cruise. But this," she gestured at the scene before us, "this is what she really wanted. Family." "That's who Mom is," I agreed. "It's always been about family for her." "You know her better than I do," Olivia said softly. "Even though I see her every week and you only visit every few months." There was no accusation in her tone, just a quiet realization. "It's not about quantity of time," I told her. "It's about paying attention." She nodded slowly. "I'm learning that." Then, with visible effort, she added, "Thank you for including me in all this. You could have done this just for you and Mom, but you included all of us." "That's what Mom would want," I said simply. "And besides, we're family too, Liv, despite everything." She smiled, a genuine smile without any of the usual sharp edges. Despite everything. The professional photographer I'd hired arrived then, and we spent the next hour taking family photos in various combinations. The entire extended family, just the siblings, just the grandchildren, and so on. Mom was radiant, moving from group to group, touching everyone as if to reassure herself they were really there. As the sun began to set, the resort staff appeared with champagne for the adults and sparkling juice for the children. Uncle Michael raised his glass. "To my beautiful sister on her 70th birthday," he toasted. "Distance and time may separate us, but family is forever." "To Mom," I added, raising my glass. "To Grandma," the kids chimed in. Mom looked around at all of us, her family gathered from across the world, and her eyes filled with tears of joy. "I don't have words," she said simply. This is beyond anything I could have dreamed. The evening continued with a beach barbecue, music, and storytelling. Uncle Michael regaled us with tales of Mom's childhood antics, making her blush and laugh in equal measure. The cousins, despite having just met, formed immediate bonds over shared family traits and interests. At one point, I found myself sitting next to Mom on a bench slightly removed from the main gathering, watching as Dad taught some of the younger children how to roast marshmallows properly. "Katie," Mom said, taking my hand in hers, "I need you to know something." I turned to her, concerned by her serious tone. "What is it, Mom?" "I've always seen you," she said earnestly. "Not just what you can do for everyone, but who you are. Your kindness, your thoughtfulness, your attention to detail. The way you remember everyone's favorites and notice when someone is left out." I felt tears prick at my eyes. "Mom, let me finish," she insisted gently. "I know we've taken advantage of your generosity. I know Olivia has been particularly difficult about it. And I know your father and I haven't always stepped in when we should have." "It's okay," I began, but she shook her head. "No, it's not. And I want you to know that I see it, and I'm sorry. You deserve better from your family." The tears I'd been holding back spilled over. "Thank you for saying that." She squeezed my hand. "This weekend, what you've done for all of us, it's extraordinary. Not just because of the expense or the planning, but because you saw what would truly make me happy. You saw me. I learned from the best," I told her with a watery smile. "You've always seen all of us." She looked out at our extended family, all laughing and talking together on the beach. "This is the greatest gift I could ever receive, having everyone together like this." "They're staying for a week," I reminded her. "We've got plenty of time together." She nodded, wiping away a tear. Time together. That's really all that matters in the end, isn't it? Not the fancy resorts or the expensive gifts, but the time we spend with the people we love. I thought about the past few days, the confrontation with Olivia, the tentative new understanding we'd reached, the genuine connection we'd begun to rebuild. I thought about Dad's unexpected words of pride, and now Mom's acknowledgement of what I'd needed to hear for so long. "Yes," I agreed. "That's what matters." Later that night, as everyone began to drift back to their accommodations, the Australian contingent to their hotel rooms, our immediate family to our cottage, I found myself walking alongside Olivia on the moonlit beach. "What you did today," she said without preamble. "Bringing Uncle Michael and everyone here. I've never seen Mom so happy." "That was the goal," I replied with a smile. She stopped walking, turning to face me directly. "I need to say something, and I need you to just let me get through it without interrupting, okay?" Surprised, I nodded. Olivia took a deep breath. "I'm sorry for a lot of things, for taking advantage of your generosity, for expecting rather than asking, for acting entitled to your money, for making you feel like that's all we value you for." She paused, then added quietly, "And I'm especially sorry for trying to manipulate you about Mom's birthday trip." I stood very still, stunned by this unprecedented apology. "The thing is," she continued, "it's easier to be annoyed with you for saying no than to admit that I shouldn't have asked or demanded in the first place. It's easier to paint you as the villain than to acknowledge my own entitlement. And it's definitely easier to resent your success than to admit I'm envious of it." "Liv," I began, but she held up a hand. "I'm not finished. Watching you this weekend, how you planned everything, how you thought of details none of the rest of us would have considered, how you gave Mom exactly what she needed even though she never asked for it, it made me realize something. You're not just the successful one or the responsible one or the family bank. You're the one who sees people, really sees them." Her voice caught slightly. "And I want to be more like that. I want to see people the way you do, instead of just seeing what they can do for me. The vulnerability in her voice, so unlike my usually confident and assertive sister, touched me deeply. "Thank you," I said simply. "That means a lot." She nodded, seemingly embarrassed by her own emotional disclosure. "Yeah, well, don't get used to it." I laughed, recognizing her retreat to humor as a defense mechanism. Wouldn't dream of it. We resumed walking, the sound of waves a soothing backdrop. "So," Olivia said after a while, "what's the plan for tomorrow? More surprises?" "Actually, yes," I admitted. "We're moving to the larger villa I mentioned, the one with room for all the Australian relatives too. It's got a private pool and a game room for the kids." She shook her head in amazement. "You really did think of everything." "Not everything," I corrected her. "Just the things that matter to Mom." "And what about you?" she asked unexpectedly. "What matters to you, Katie?" The question caught me off guard. For so long, I'd been focused on what everyone else needed or wanted. Mom, Dad, Olivia, the kids. I'd almost forgotten to consider what I wanted for myself. "This," I finally said, gesturing vaguely around us. "Family, connection, being seen for who I am, not just what I can provide, having boundaries respected." I paused, then added, "Having a sister again, not just a financial obligation." Olivia's expression softened. "I'd like that too," she admitted. "To be sisters again, real ones." "It won't be easy," I warned her. "We've got a lot of history and bad patterns to overcome." "Nothing worthwhile ever is easy," she replied with uncharacteristic wisdom. "But I'm willing to try if you are." "I am," I assured her. She held out her hand, pinky extended. "Pinky swear? Like when we were kids?" I laughed, linking my pinky with hers. "Pinky swear." As we sealed our childhood vow, I felt something shift between us. Not a complete healing, but a beginning. A willingness to see each other clearly, to acknowledge past hurts, and to move forward with new understanding. The rest of the family had gotten ahead of us, already reaching the path that led back to our cottage. Olivia and I quickened our pace to catch up. "Oh, by the way," Olivia said casually as we walked, "that call I got during Mom's birthday dinner yesterday, it wasn't work." "No?" I was curious despite myself. "It was my boss, actually. She's offering me a full-time position with benefits. I'd be managing the office." "Liv, that's fantastic," I exclaimed. "Are you going to take it?" She nodded, a determined expression on her face. "I am. It's time I started pulling my own weight, relying on my own abilities instead of..." She trailed off, looking embarrassed. "Instead of expecting me to bail you out," I finished for her. "Yeah," she admitted. "That. I'm proud of you," I told her sincerely. "That's a big step." "Well, I had a pretty good wake-up call last week," she said with a wry smile. "Nothing like being told no to make you reassess your choices." "Sorry about that," I said, though I wasn't really sorry at all. "Don't be," she replied immediately. "I needed it. Probably should have happened years ago." We had reached the cottage now, where the rest of the family was already settling in for the night. Mom and Dad stood on the deck, watching our approach with matching expressions of cautious hope. "Everything okay?" Mom called as we climbed the steps to join them. Olivia and I exchanged a look. Not the old look of competition or resentment, but something new. Something like understanding, or even complicity. "Everything's fine, Mom," Olivia answered. "We were just talking about the future." "Good things, I hope?" Dad asked, his gaze moving between us. "Very good things," I confirmed. "New beginnings." Mom's eyes filled with tears again. She'd been emotional all day, understandably. "That's the best birthday gift you could give me. My girl's getting along." Don't get too excited, Olivia warned with a laugh. We're still us. There will be arguments. But maybe fewer than before, I added. And maybe they'll be about things that actually matter, not just old grievances and money. I'll drink to that, Dad declared, raising his water glass in a mock toast. As we all clinked glasses under the stars, I felt a sense of profound peace. The weekend hadn't gone as originally planned, by Olivia or by me. It had been messier, more emotional, more honest than I'd anticipated. There had been confrontations and apologies, tears and laughter, revelations and reconnections. In other words, it had been family, real family, with all the complications and challenges and deep, abiding love that entailed. And in the end, that was worth far more than any luxury resort or private plane could ever be. It was worth every penny, every difficult conversation, every boundary I'd had to set. Some experiences, after all, are priceless. And watching Mom embrace her brother again after 20 years apart, seeing the joy on her face as she gathered her entire extended family around her, beginning to rebuild my relationship with Olivia on more equal, respectful footing. I couldn't have planned a better outcome if I'd tried. To family, I said softly, raising my glass one more time. To family, everyone echoed. And in that moment, as the waves crashed rhythmically against the shore and the stars shone brilliantly overhead, I knew that no matter what challenges the future might hold, we would face them together. Not perfectly, not without disagreements, but together nonetheless. Because that's what family does. The real kind, anyway. The kind worth fighting for. The kind worth setting boundaries to protect. The kind worth every sacrifice and every difficult conversation. The kind I was lucky enough to have, imperfect though we might be,